I never saw her enter. No footsteps. No knock. Just sunlight on red fabric. And the sense that someone had been there before me. Every morning, she stood outside. Watching without moving. Listening without asking. My wife said, "Do you ever feel haunted, even when you're alone?" I said no. But I lied. She never touched me. She didn't need to. Because I gave her everything the moment I stopped closing the door in my mind. And now, when my wife holds me, I miss the woman who never once asked to. I didn't hear footsteps. I never did. But every morning at 7:14, she was there. The woman in red. She stood on the far side of the lawn, not on the pavement, not on the driveway, but right where the morning sun touched first. Always in the same spot. Always in that same fitted red dress that shimmered slightly in the light, like it had its own pulse. She didn't move. She didn't wave. She just watched. And I watched back. I told myself it was curiosity. A passing glance. But even that first morning, something in my chest tightened like I was remembering a name I had never learned. Emily was making coffee. The scent drifted from the kitchen, mingling with the scent of warm earth through the screen door. She didn't notice my silence until the coffee had long stopped bubbling. "You're up early," she said. Her voice was casual. Safe. Familiar. "Yeah," I said. I didn't look at her. My eyes stayed on the woman. Still there. Still watching. Emily followed my gaze. Out the window. Across the lawn. There was no one there. "What are you looking at?" I blinked. The space was empty. Dew glistened on the grass. A few birds pecked near the hedges. But no red. No shimmer. "Nothing," I said too quickly. Emily didn't press. She rarely did anymore. We were years into marriage. The kind of years where silence gets mistaken for comfort. Or worse, acceptance. The next day, she came back. Same spot. Same hour. This time, I didn't look away. There was something not quite human about her. Not wrong, just refined. Her movements or lack of them too precise. Like she was waiting for a cue from a script only she knew. Her hair was braided in a pattern that looked impossible, like constellations coiled into strands. Her eyes were pale, not blue, not gray. Something else. She didn't speak. She didn't have to. Emily found me standing at the window again. I was barefoot, still in sleepwear. She held a cup of coffee between us like a question. "Are you okay?" I nodded. But my eyes didn't move. She offered me the cup. I took it without feeling the heat. My hand was cold, I realized. Like I'd been outside in winter air. Emily didn't ask more. She went to the kitchen, humming something tuneless. But I felt her glance back. Not once. Not twice. 3 times. By day 4, I started waking before the alarm. I pretended not to wait for her. I told myself it was coincidence. That she happened to be there when I looked. But the air changed when she arrived. Like something shifted just beyond sound. Like gravity paying attention. She never stepped closer. Never waved. She just stood, her eyes fixed on the window, as if she could see through the glass and into something deeper. On day 6, she wasn't alone. A neighbor was walking their dog across the street. They didn't look toward her. Didn't pause. As if she wasn't there. I stepped outside. The cold hit me first. Then the stillness. She was gone. That night, Emily sat beside me on the couch. We watched a movie we'd both seen. She laughed at the parts she always laughed at. I smiled when she did. But my thoughts were outside, in the space between the lawn and the glass. Emily leaned on my shoulder. "You've been quiet lately," she said. I turned to her. Smiled. Kissed the top of her head. Just tired. But the truth was this. I wasn't tired. I was awake. More awake than I'd been in years. And I was waiting. Waiting for the woman who never knocked. The one who only existed in the silence. In the glass. And maybe, in me. I never asked her to come closer. But she did. Each day, just a step. A subtle shift. Like a tide I never noticed until it was already around my ankles. At first, she stood near the trees. Then the path. Then the edge of the porch. She still never knocked. And yet, I always knew she had been there. One morning, there was something on the windowsill. A single flower. Pale silver, not quite real, like it was grown under stars instead of sunlight. I didn't hear anyone place it. I just woke, walked to the kitchen, and there it was. Emily was in the shower. She didn't see me hold it. Smell it. Hide it. The petals were warm. That day, she stood on the porch. Not moving. Not blinking. Her eyes fixed on the window, but this time, they found mine. She didn't smile. Didn't wave. Just looked. And in that moment, I felt something inside me move. Not in my chest. Deeper. Older. Like a thought I had once buried so well, even I forgot where I left it. I turned away. Emily handed me a cup of tea. She had switched from coffee last week. She said it was for sleep. I hadn't been sleeping. But not because of caffeine. "Did you bring something in from outside?" she asked casually. I froze. Like what? I saw some petals on the counter. Looked fake. Or frozen. I threw them out. My throat tightened. Probably from the neighbor's yard. Emily didn't respond. She looked at me for a second too long. Then walked away. I didn't follow. That night, I dreamed. Not the wild, twisted dreams of stress. Not memories. Not nightmares. I dreamed of her. She was standing at the foot of our bed, watching. Not menacing. Not seductive. Just watching. I didn't move. In the dream, she whispered something. But I couldn't hear the words. Only the feeling they left in my spine. Warmth. ache, need. When I woke, my hands were clenched, my mouth dry. Emily was still asleep beside me. I watched her breathe, counted each inhale. And I knew then, I had let something in. Not into the house, into me. The next morning, she was closer, sitting on the porch swing, her legs crossed, her head tilted. She looked at me. And this time, I looked back. I stared for too long. And she smiled. Not with her lips, with her eyes. And something about that look told me she knew everything. She knew how many times I checked the window. She knew about the flower I didn't throw away. She knew about the dream. She knew I didn't tell her to leave. And she knew I never would. That night, Emily touched my hand while we watched TV. Her thumb rubbed the back of mine, slow, affectionate, familiar. I should have turned toward her, said something, anything. Instead, I sat still, because all I could think about was the swing creaking outside, moving when there was no wind. In the silence, I whispered to myself, I never unlocked the door. But maybe, it was never really locked to begin with. The rain had started before sunset. Soft at first, then steadily harder, like the sky was trying to speak through the roof. Emily was gone. Conference out of state. 2 nights. Maybe 3. I didn't expect her to call that evening. She hated flying. She'd text once she landed. She hadn't yet. The house felt large without her. The walls, too white. The air, too still. I didn't turn on the TV. Just the sound of rain. And my heartbeat. And that space between them. I stood at the window, the one that faced the porch. She wasn't there. For the first time in days, she wasn't there. And yet, I felt her. Not outside. Inside. I turned. She was standing in the hallway. No footsteps. No door creak. No knock. Just there. Hair damp. Dressed darker in the shadows. Water clinging to her like silk. She didn't move. Neither did I. I should have spoken. I didn't. She stepped forward. Not threatening. Not slow. Just sure. Like she'd always been part of this place. Like the walls remembered her. Just one night, she said. Her voice was soft. Almost human. Almost not. I won't ask again. That was all. She didn't touch me. But her eyes did. They found every part of me I thought I had locked away. Regret. Memory. Desire. Shame. Hope. You're thinking about her, she whispered. But not who she is. Who she used to be. My throat clenched. When she laughed without checking if it was the right time. When she touched you because she wanted to, not because she remembered to. I looked away. She didn't move closer. But the space between us folded anyway. I sat. She did too. Across from me. Not close. Not far. Enough to hear each other breathe. And that was all we did. We didn't kiss. We didn't speak again. She just sat with me. Until time lost meaning. Until the rain stopped. And sometime after midnight, my phone buzzed. Emily. Video call. I stared at the screen. Let it ring. Let it stop. She didn't ask me to ignore it. I just didn't move. Not out of betrayal. But because I didn't want the moment to end. Not this stillness. Not this knowing. She stood first. Walked down the hall. I didn't follow. I woke up on the couch. Alone. No trace. No sound. Just a small, dry petal on the floor beside me. Silver. Almost glowing. Emily texted, "Call when you wake up." I didn't. Not yet. Because in that quiet hour before morning, I wasn't sure who I had dreamed of. Or if it had been a dream at all. Emily didn't speak much when she came back. She unpacked quietly. Put her suitcase in the closet. Hung her coat. Took a longer than usual shower. Then came to bed without brushing her hair. She didn't kiss me goodnight. The next morning, she made coffee. She hadn't done that in weeks. I watched her stir milk into the mug, twice clockwise, once counter. She used to hum while doing it. Now it was silent. She handed me my cup. Her fingers lingered a moment too long. Not affection. A test. I failed it. She opened my laptop that afternoon. Browsed nothing in particular. Clicked history, twice. Closed it. Opened it again. She didn't ask anything. She didn't have to. At dinner, she sat opposite me. The table felt wider than usual. The clink of her fork too loud. My appetite left after the first bite. She watched me more than she ate. I didn't look up. After we cleaned up, she sniffed my shirt when I passed her. Lightly. Quickly. She didn't think I noticed. I did. That night in bed, she turned away before I got in. Didn't say good night. I didn't say it either. She didn't ask questions. But her silence wrapped tighter each day. Like a wire around the wrist. She began moving things. Subtle changes. Books rearranged. Pillows switched. The blanket folded differently. Looking for something. Or leaving traps. I started waking up before her. Or maybe I wasn't sleeping at all. I dreamed. Constantly. Same dream. The woman in red. Standing in doorways. Watching me from mirrors. Always quiet. Always waiting. Never touching. Emily caught me staring at the hallway one morning. "Is there something you keep seeing?" she asked. I shook my head. She didn't believe me. She didn't say it. But I felt it in her movements. Less softness. More calculation. She started brushing against me deliberately. Testing my reactions. My flinches. My stillness. It broke her heart. Not that I pulled away. but that I didn't react at all. She looked at me over the sink one night, soap on her hands, tears not falling but gathered. "You haven't done anything wrong," she said. "But I don't think I'm in your eyes anymore." I wanted to hold her. Say something. Anything. But my body felt borrowed. Like it belonged to another memory. That night, I lay awake. Emily turned in her sleep, murmured a name. Not mine. Or maybe she didn't speak at all. Maybe I was still dreaming. Because when I opened my eyes, the hallway was empty. But I swore I saw red fading around the corner. And I didn't know who I wanted it to be. Emily stayed. She didn't ask questions anymore. Didn't test me. Didn't touch me unless by accident. We lived like two ghosts in the same house, passing through rooms at different temperatures. She made dinner. I washed the dishes. We talked about grocery lists, not dreams. Weather, not memories. There were no fights. No raised voices. Just courtesy. Clean and empty. One night, I heard her laugh at something on her phone. It sounded like someone I used to know. Someone I might have loved. She turned the screen away before I could see it. I said nothing. The next morning, I went to the bathroom, half asleep. The mirror was fogged from her shower. I wiped it. For a second, I thought I saw her. Not Emily. Her. The red dress. The eyes that didn't blink. The stillness. She was behind me. I turned around. Nothing. But the air was colder. And my heart was louder. I stared at the sink. Then at my hands. Then at the reflection again. Empty. But I couldn't shake the sense that the mirror remembered her. That night, I dreamed of the porch. Of the swing creaking. Of a figure waiting in the dark. I woke to find Emily already gone from the bed. A note on her pillow, back by noon. I sat on the edge of the mattress, fingers against my temples. I didn't cry. Not because I wasn't grieving. But because I didn't know what I had lost. At lunch, I reached into the closet for a jacket. Something fell from the sleeve. A petal. Dry. Pale. Silver. I stared at it in my palm. It hadn't been there before. Or maybe it had. Maybe it had always been there. Emily came home humming. She looked lighter. Like someone who had let go of a rope too long held. We ate lunch together. She smiled at something I said. I don't remember what. In the mirror above the table, I caught my reflection. I was looking for her. Not Emily. The other her. The one who never asked anything. Who never knocked. Who only appeared in stillness and fog and memory. And I realized something. I had lost both. Emily. And the woman who might never have been real. But the ache? The ache was real. And that night, as I brushed my teeth, I looked again. The mirror showed only me. But on the cuff of my shirt, a single, silver petal clung to the fabric. And for the first time, I didn't know whose memory I was wearing.